Hi there, this is Kathy Crow at the Crow Cottage again, and today I'm going to do some coloring, and I've titled this that to lose weight. You can color because you really can. I know this has worked for me to do it. I've lost 80 pounds now. I still have 55 to go, but 80 pounds. And it is all just because, first of all, because God has given me the desire to do it, a plan to do it, and then He also has provided me with this wonderful business. So I'm just bringing that idea to you that if you would like to have some help, this is one thing that's working out really well for me, but it's something God would love to do for anyone. It's good to feel healthier and to be healthier, and it's nice to look a little better too. So, let's just be honest. That's something that isn't a bad thing. God actually made all of us beautiful, and anyway, it's nice to feel like I'm getting near the end, about 5 more months, and I should be able to embark on the keeping it off plan. Anyway, I'm going to just keep talking a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm also, while I'm coloring, because today I want to do this card. This is going to be a wonderful spring Eastery type card. My little sentiment down there says celebrate, but you could put anything on here. This is actually from the You're Inspiring stamp set that is in the regular catalog, I believe. It has a little Happy Mother's Day stamp on it, so I'm using it in the Climbing Roses class that's coming up too, because I want to be able to put a Mother's Day card in 2 more classes, so that you have a chance to make something really cool for your special daughter-in-law, friend, mother-in-law, mother, a neighbor. There's lots of moms out there. It's not just something to give to just your mom. Please don't just give it to just your mom. And then anyhow, this one has it has a happy birthday, happy Easter, kind thoughts, and You're Inspiring, which is a really good stamp. I've used that a bunch. So anyhow, that's what I'm going to use for that. We're going to see what we can accomplish, because I've been coloring. And like I said, you can lose weight coloring. It's true. So I'm going to practice a little bit of coloring with you. This is all just practice. Okay, you're going to see what it looks like when a person is just practicing. I'm not an artist per se. I took 1/4 of display design at a local community college and could not pass the color wheel. So that tells you how much of an artist I am. But on the other hand, I did learn some things, but over the past 40 years, I've learned more. And practice actually is probably the best thing for you. So I'm going to give you an idea about some pens, some coloring. Just don't be afraid. And then the other card I'm hoping I can get to is this one, but we'll see. I don't know if I have time to do all of that. So we will put the camera down, and I hope I can find your comments. You know what? I'm always having a really hard time actually seeing comments, and I'm very disappointed by that. This is something that I should be able to do. And I also have my coffee cup nearby. I'm really hoping I don't mess up my stuff by spilling my coffee all over. I already had a terrible time this morning with my coffee, because I was, hold on a second, I don't know what Facebook is doing. I think it might have temporarily frozen. At least it appears to have done so on my computer. So oh no, I'm back in business. Good. I think I'm back in business. My hand's just hanging here. So anyhow, hoping I can see your comments, because I'm looking at my computer. Sometimes they appear down lower and I don't see them, but I kind of need to be able to see what this camera is actually seeing, because you probably don't need to see all of my mess up here on the desk. but I do need you to be able to see my workspace. But then I have to scroll down like past my where I can see what you see. I have to scroll past that to see any comments, and sometimes what's happening is that I'm not seeing those comments. Okay. I think I've got it set. Sorry it takes so long, but it just does. So anyhow, I think I want to do this card first, and then we'll get, well, actually, no, this is going to be a really quick one. Let me put some of these things away, because that is something that I can get to pretty quickly. I just did want to practice a little bit of coloring with you. So I used the Humming Along stamp set. This is, I think this must be in the Occasions catalog. I think this is a newer one that's in the Occasions catalog. It actually has its little Thinlits. And I believe these are running low. It's been unfortunate that Stampin' Up! This year, I don't know what happened. They're having a hard time keeping up, the manufacturers are, with what we're buying. So, I don't know why, but anyhow, this bundle, the Thinlits particularly, are getting low. So if you like this set, you need to buy it as a bundle, because when you buy it as a bundle, you get 10% off, plus you've still got 2 weeks of celebration going on. So if you buy this and a pad and some paper, you will have spent $50 already, and you will get a free Stampin' Up! Or Celebration item. There's lots of really cool things out there, by the way, for Celebration, so you do it, okay? Anyway, this little guy has these little framelits, so I'm not going to be taking the time to cut it out. I've got some on my website. If you go to my Kathy Crow's Cards Wix website, and if you can't find it because it's pretty hard to find, it has like this giant address. It's got like, I don't know how many numbers and letters in it, because I won't pay for a real one. So you've got to type in a lot to get there, and Google doesn't I don't think Google likes it when you have such long ones. They just don't come up. And then you can, but if you find it, sign up for my newsletter, and then you can find it. You get these little Thinlits, cuts out these little guys, really cool, and the flowers too. This is, looks to me like a hibiscus flower. I don't know. Could be, no, it couldn't be a trumpet vine. This looks like hibiscus. Maybe it's, if I did it blue, it could be a morning glory almost, although they have big fat leaves. So I tried some different things, and I'm still working on the hibiscus. I'm not 100% thrilled with what I've got for the hibiscus. This one's okay. That one's okay. But when you look at a bunch of, this one's okay. The hibiscus has, you know, they don't necessarily have a different color gradation, but they probably do. They have so many things anymore. So anyhow, I'm going to just play here a little bit with this hummingbird guy. I kind of liked this one, but I tried to make him look like a ruby-throated hummingbird, which of course we don't have anywhere near the Tri-Cities in our cold weather, but if you lived in a more tropical place, that's what you would have. And I wrote down the names of some of my pen colors, but to tell you the truth, I'm not seeing the first color that I used. I don't think it was this one. And maybe it is. But anyhow, this is Blue Green 23, and this is a Copic pen. You know what? I know I did. Here are my hummingbird ones over here, because I think I used mostly our Stampin' Up! Blending pens for this. Okay, so we're going to start with, the blending pens are alcohol-based pens, so they blend really well. You do have to be careful, like in these smaller zones. They can bleed a little bit. So we'll start with a light one. They come in light and dark, and this is Bermuda Bay. And you can, start with your light one to see what color it is, because I can't color with my glasses on. I have to take those off. I'm seeing now, this is not the color I started with, because I did not, but we're going to stick with it now because my Tombows work great, but they are not alcohol pens apparently because they don't blend as well, and I used a Tombow for that. So we'll use the dark one and see if we can get a little bit less of a green on his head. He's going to be kind of greeny compared to the other ones. Okay, that's that. So as you can see with this hummingbird, I've added a lot of other detail. But the way I did that was I just colored this with the light granny apple green first, and I sort of made a little, his little chest is white. So I just went over it like this with this light granny apple green, and then I did this part too. And then I just took, you can take this pen and it'll be dark, but this one will be darker. You want a contrast. So we'll take this fine tip on this, and we're just gonna add few more little feathers here and make them smaller as you go to the top. It doesn't have to look great to you. I'm gonna tell you, when you're doing something on your own, you're gonna think, oh, that doesn't look as good as that other person's. And no, it's gonna look just fine. A lot of the things that we tell ourselves aren't really true. And you're biased by the fact that you think someone else knows more than you do about it. And they probably don't. And even if they do, so what? They had to start somewhere too, right? Like there are probably people watching right now who know so much more than I do about color and what to do to make everything really pop out really well. In fact, I know there's a lady on YouTube, and she has other stuff too called, it's somebody Allnock. Brenda? I can't remember what her name is. But anyway, she knows a lot about color. So if you were going to want to find more information about actually blending and all the different pens, she's got a lot of information, so I would recommend finding her. So this is a very bright neon-y green. This is a Tombow 173, and as you can see, I can go over my alcohol blending pens with it, and it can mark it up a little bit, which I wanted to do just to get a little bit of feathering going on there. But it doesn't blend with it. It'll mark it up, but it won't blend with it. So just to know, you can use it, but you just kind of have to be a little careful because it's not going to blend in like the alcohol blending pens blend themselves in together. Okay, then I also used a little bit of pink. So I want to go from light to dark. And so I think I'm going to, I bet you I didn't use that. I bet I used, Highland Heather. I cannot believe I used Highland Heather, but maybe I did. I did write it down at this time. So, but I'm always skeptical about what I actually did. So yeah, maybe it is Highland Heather. So this, I kind of just stuck in the middle of some of these larger, and I think I'm going to use this. Actually, that looks not light enough or dark enough. Let's use this dark Highland Heather blending pen, and we'll use the fat tip. And that looks too dark though, so I'm going to go back to the other one. I'm thinking it's not pink enough. I'm pretty sure I had pink in there, but oh well. I'm just going to kind of stick it in there. It's not going to be exactly the same as the other ones. Again, I'm not really striving for perfection here. It's something to have fun with. So I'm just going to put that in there where I kind of want to. But I do want some on these little tail feathers too. And then that's it. You're not going to use a lot of that one. And then we're going to try to get a bunch more green going in. And I want to use my Tombow pen because I really want that green to be bright. And I'm afraid if I start with the blending pen, it's going to all kind of disappear. And these are very small areas that I'm doing, so the fact that my Tombow has lines in it, because it's not a blending, is actually a benefit here. If you just keep going in the same direction, you know, start out and pull towards you. That's one way to make sure your lines stay straighter, is to start out and pull towards you. Those of you who are kindergarten painters, kindergarten people painters, you know, painting with little kids, know that that's how you, one of the things you want to train a child when they're trying to learn how to draw and write, form letters correctly and all that. One of the challenges is to get them to start out and pull toward. And I don't know, I've heard different theories about how people are we are just so egocentric that our desire is to always start in and go out, and which is funny because that's actually not how life works. If you start in and move out, you're going to always be in. You might think you're going out, but you're actually still going in, and that's a concept that many people just don't want to accept, but it's true, and I'm sorry. It's, you know, some people are born with a little bit more altruistic nature than I am, thankfully. Thankfully they are, but human nature, because of the sin that we have in the world, is such that we will be inward people, not seeking to go out, even when we think we are, we're really not. So I just put, you know, some of this bright green there, and I'm going to kind of blend it in a little bit, but I'm going to use this dark Bermuda Bay to finish out these feathers, so because I want to make sure I've got plenty of my of this is the primary color I want showing in this guy. So we're just gonna go right on over the colors, trying to leave a little bit of that. See how that Highland Heather, it was it was the light Highland Heather. I was correct when I got it out first. It does look a little bit more pink as it dries instead of just purple, so that's good. All right, so in the evening, back to how coloring can help you lose weight. It really can. And, you know, my husband likes to watch TV, and I do too, but he actually likes to watch it even more than I do. But he wants me to be watching it with him, and I enjoy the shows that we watch. We watch a lot of old movies, and we found Person of Interest. Now, this is a TV series that I believe is still ongoing. We find these things on Netflix and on Amazon and whatnot, and it's actually a really enjoyable show. Well, he wants me to be out there watching it with him, but the truth is that I get a little bored just watching TV, and because I would rather myself, if when I'm here all by myself, I watch old stuff mostly, and then also, I've got all my Stampin' Up! Stuff I need to do. So I just pull it all out there, and I can do coloring. And when I wasn't doing this, I was eating while I was watching TV, and oftentimes just to stay awake, because otherwise I just fall asleep on the sofa. And you know what? I would love for you to join my team. I would be happy to encourage you to be somebody who also is using this to help you lose weight. And I guarantee you I can help encourage you in that direction. I'm not going to tell people how to eat, because I think everybody has different bodies that function differently as far as how we store and use calories, and that's certainly true for me. So I can eat, you know, I can eat the same calories, but if I eat them, any of them, I mean literally any of them, after 6 or 7 o'clock at night, I won't lose a pound. And that's just because of the body I've got, okay? I wish I had a better one in the fact that I could eat a little more normally, but I can't. And I've accepted that, and I just feel like God's really blessing me and helping me to get this weight off. But to keep it off, now around your eye, you want to make a big circle here because I kind of want a little white around his eye. And if I just keep coloring, I'm going to lose all of that. But I think God's just given me a way to do this, but it could be different for you as far as how you can still eat, because we do still all have to eat. And this is why weight loss is such a problem, is because you are going to continue to eat. You can't, like smoking, you can't just stop eating, okay? You can't find an alternative. Eating is eating. Anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to eat 1,000 calories or fewer some days, just because we have a wedding coming up here. So I'd kind of like to lose a little faster, you know, so that I can be a little more comfortable with what I'm going to be buying to wear at this wedding. But anyway, there, a little bit of white around the eye, but not too much. And that guy is done. So I could cut him out, but I'm going to stop because I'm not going to complete this card. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what to, you know, how to practice. Just don't be afraid. Go online, look at a bird, try to copy it with the pens that you have. You might end up having to go back down to the store and buy a few. The Copic pens are kind of expensive, but not compared to anything else. The blending pens from Stampin' Up, of course, are the ones I would like you to buy from me, and they are $4.95 each. But to get the light and the dark, which you want to do, that's going to be $9, and that's a good deal. It's a good deal. These are a little more expensive. The other ones are even more expensive, but they are worth it. So I would encourage you to do it. Now, I did not stamp a flower, but that's okay because we're going to actually be moving on anyway to this card. And this little daffodil, I forgot to punch out a rectangle. This is going to be done on the stitched rectangle Thinlit. So I'm kind of throwing things around here because I'm looking to see. I'm going to just stamp that on here and we'll cut it out of this. So, let me think about this. I better cut this in half so that I can have something to work with that's a little smaller to work with. But I better save that paper because who knows when I might want that. And let me put my stamp set over there and out of the way. And I'm going to move some of these pens out of the way. Oh my rubber band got lost here. Let me rubber band these together because I don't have a great system for finding these, but it does help to keep the light and the dark together, to just keep them rubber banded together. They have all kinds of wonderful marker storage systems out there. That would be wonderful. But I just balk at spending a ton of. I already spend so much money. I don't need to spend more. Memento Black, Tuxedo Black is going to be what we're going to stamp with. And when you're using alcohol blending pens, you need to use this ink. Don't use StazOn because it won't work. I haven't tried it. I don't even have any StazOn because it's a good permanent ink. So if you're inking on like ceramic or glass or plastic, then you would want to use StazOn because it's permanent. This is permanent too, but just not as, okay? So at any rate, that you could, but you can't use StazOn with your blending pen, so that's why I don't have it. And I also was told that you have to buy the Stamp Mist cleaner to clean your ink off of your rubber pads like these right away, because if you don't, I need the bigger block here. Let me move these out of the way. This is like all over the place. If you don't clean them off, that StazOn ink can actually kind of eat through your rubber. So that's why I never have even bought any, but I do need to get some because I have a project in mind with a ceramic cup, and then you ink it up, and then you can put it in the microwave for 10 minutes. Look at that. Now I got to clean that off because that looks terrible. Obviously, I had a big pool of ink. This might be my new one, or it might be an old one that I put ink on. So I have a couple, but it pooled and got all over in there, and that would have been really messy if I tried to stamp that. It would not have given me the detail I want. And I suppose one of the reasons it did that, because like I said, it's probably one that I might, actually, I bet I refilled it and then I did this with it. So we're not going to do that with it and see if we get a better impression, because now all the ink's going to be more, it's not going to be pooling up at the top, and I can still press good. Yeah, that's looking better, although there still is some of this muddiness right here. And I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'm going to try it one more time. I've never really had it do that before, but then in the past I've probably just stamped with it and didn't really even make sure it's dry. Okay, try it one more time. I won't push so hard this time. Now, some of the new stamp pads are so inky that that's actually very true. Now, see, this turned out much better. If you push really hard, you're going to force the ink right down into your grooves where you don't want it. So for many of these ink pads that are the new Stampin' Up! Ones, just light all over. You just do want to make sure you're covering it flat down. Don't rock it. Just flat down, lightly stamping all over. It's going to get a really nice impression there. And then I want to make sure my paper's clean because I had it out all over the place. And then just, you know, moderate pressure, nothing too light or anything else. And that turned out pretty good. It's dark, and that's what we want. So yeah, this is probably my new pad. It looks very clean on the bottom, so this must be a brand new one, and it's pretty inky. So, good to know. I might want to, practice my inking with that one. I'm just cleaning off my stamp over here before I get coloring. Ooh, that flipped out. All right, so back to my, these are the old ones, so I had to put some repositional. Then I also forgot, I didn't realize the smart thing is too. So for you guys who are doing your cling stamps, the smart thing is to keep your rubber that these are going to go back down. They won't flop all over the place like mine are doing. And then keep that paper overwrap that you pulled off too and lay it on top so they're not sticking to your case all the time. All right, so I waited a second. I want to make sure that's good and dry before we start coloring on it. And then I'm going to start with, start with your brightest. This is Tombow 055. And I think this is my brightest yellow. I also have a Tombow 025, 025, 055. This one's going to be a little darker. And so I'm going to actually start with this darker one right where the lines are, just showing you that that's where it's shaded. This is the card I'm doing. Now this is an actual daffodil. There's lots of, daffodils are not all just yellow. I bet you flower people know that. They have a lot that are all white, and those are really pretty, but not as colorful on a card. And but I love these with the orange. It's an orange trumpet. Now this trumpet might not be quite as orangey. Ooh, we want to get my bright yellow for the stamens. Want those to really stand out. But they do have some pretty dark oranges, and then they also have pretty light or salmon colors that are really pretty. But we've had such a long, dry or dreary winter here at the end in February that I was really craving flowers. So I got this daffodil out again to brighten the day. It actually, these are flowers that anyone would love to get. And they probably are coming up in a lot of people's yards right now. I noticed that even though we had still a lot of snow out there, the snow's cleared off almost all the way. And we have one daffodil the leaves came out before we got the snow. Everything was blooming. We were gonna bloom pretty fast, and then we got all 3 feet of snow on it. But the daffodil's like up. He's just barely out of the ground, but I can see this little bud, so he's gonna probably bloom like way down here because of that hard winter. So I've got 2 oranges. I want to make sure that my orange is pretty bright because I'm actually gonna have this dark orange cardstock. Now this cardstock is not a Stampin' Up! Cardstock because right now, for some reason, they do not have any oranges that are bright enough for me. I do want a lighter orange down here around this stamen. So we're just going to put this lighter orange down here and then mix it in. And it'll mix in pretty well because even though these Tombos don't blend all that well, they blend a little bit and with each other. They do not blend with the alcohol inks, but they do blend with each other somewhat. You know, they're a little bit limited. It's not really a watercolor. If you are a watercolorer, then you would want to stick with that medium. But the other thing that I found after looking at all kinds of YouTube information, there's so many things out there you can find, that one of the things that will really make your designs pop out is using your gel pens. So I found this huge pack of gel pens, and I have in my little basket. I don't even think they have any numbers. They were like some generic Amazon thing, but it had so many colors that I thought, oh good, this is gonna be great. I can find what I need here. And there is a white one, but I am having a hard time actually getting the white ones to work all that well. They tend to, I don't know, just disappear. And the chalk marker actually works better. It is working. Let me see if the other one's brighter. And these are actually glittery, which is kind of cool too. When I first got them and saw I had so many glitter markers, I thought, well, that's goofy because I'm probably never going to want glitter markers. But they actually look really nice on your card because it's not like it's so glittery that, you know, it's not so glittery that it looks stupid. People can hardly even see the glitter. Now, I might have used this because I'm still just not really seeing that orange. You know, there's not much change there. And yes, now I can see this pink. And you can see it's a pretty bright fluorescent-y pink. But on top of this orange, it looks great. And you're just using it around the edge of your daffodil. And the daffodils, there's one called Poeticus something. It's and there's one too that's a pheasant. I kind of forget their names, but oh, it's really cool. It's got like a little bright orange around the edge. It's really cool. Okay, I want those little stamens to come out more, so I'm using this yellow gel pen, and I'm kind of dabbing it because sometimes that one's just not quite bright enough. Let me see if this one's brighter. There we go. That's a little better. Just around. Try to brighten that up a little bit so it can be seen. Okay, so put those away. That's all I'm going to do. Actually, yeah, that's all I'm going to do with those blending pens, but I'm not done because I'm probably going to use those blending pens a little bit with these leaves too. So the leaves were, I wonder if I have my colors. I'm not sure that I do. I think I used this one. This is Tombow 173. but I'm thinking I might also have you, let's see, this is 243. Oh, that's very blue. That's not one that I use. Huh, maybe. There's that Copic one. Maybe I used this one. Nope, that's very bluish too. This is actually just green. So Copic is nice the way that they're colored. They have a letter that tells you what the color is. So this is green. This one is BG, so it's blue-green. And then they have Y for yellow and etc. So it's just, they're much easier to keep track of what it is. When I write my Tombow numbers down to do my cards, I just write the number and I don't know always what is 100. Is it green? Is it blue? Is it red? And then I can't find it. But I think I might, oh, I'll bet you I did Granny Apple Green. So let's start with the light Granny Apple Green. And the light one's going to be kind of dark. We're going to just start that with the bottom. Everywhere that I would want my, oops, I flubbed that a little, but that's okay. Where I would want that's actually too light. Maybe I used Call Me Clover. This is dark Call Me Clover. There's the light Call Me Clover. I didn't think I did, but now I'm looking at it, I must have. So we're going to use dark, or yeah, dark? No, light Call Me Clover. We're going to use that for the more shaded portion of these leaves. And again, you're just going to want to try to put yourself in the garden and see in your mind, where would light be falling on these leaves? Because where light would be falling, that's where it will be brighter. And things more in shadow will be darker. And that's oftentimes just a guess. You can go right over the veins. You're always pretty safe just sticking with the veins of leaves. But I'm just going to try to get a little bit of variation. And oftentimes they have, you know, anywhere where there's little shaded lines, it's going to be darker there. You can color that in. And these little thin stems are always going to be dark too. If you look in a garden, the stems are almost always pretty dark. You can buy certain varieties that are really cool when they have anything other than a very dark stem. And they charge more for those because those are pretty special. Okay, but now we're going to go back to this because I do want bright. And I'm going to, even though that doesn't, this is a Tombow, so it doesn't really blend with that alcohol pen I have on there. It's going to kind of color right over it. And so it actually is going to work pretty well. So again, this is light Call Me Clover and Tombow 173. And then you can get this nice spring green color. Because the problem with Stampin' Up's greens right now is that there's just not enough variety. They have a very basic blue green. Actually, they've got a couple of those because Seafoam is a blue green, and the Call Me Clover is a blue green, and then they have Mossy Meadow, which is olive, and Granny Apple Green, you know, that's an olive color. And they have Old Olive, which is really good. You know, it's olive. But this is not olive, and it's not blue-green either. And that's what you need when you're doing a bunch of landscapes with lots of leaves or just lots of green grass. You need a lot of green color, folks. So I'm not sure why Stampin' Up! Went away from some of the greens that they had. But they are limited. You know, they want to color every spectrum, but anyway, I like color, so I have to have a lot of pens to do what I want to do with it. So now we've got the two variations, but I want to bring out my highlights in those leaves. So I'm going to, first of all, I think I've got like this super light green. but I'm not 100% sure that that is going to be seen on there very well. So I'm also thinking I'm going to pull in a little, I've got kind of a couple of light yellowy cream things. And we'll see how that works, because when I was doing this before, it was having a hard time really showing up. But I want that right on the top. Yeah, and that one's pretty light, actually. So that might work. And it's going to dry a little darker, so it doesn't hurt to kind of color it up a little bit. And then if you don't like it, you can just kind of color over it. You know, it's not that big a deal. And then the other thing is that you can get your color lifter to brighten up some of these too. I'm not really liking the shade of that all that well, so I'm going to get this yellowy one going. See what happens when I put that on. I hear my cat alarms going on a lot out there in the garden, and I suspect the birds are probably, I'm sorry, you know, I apologize to some of our neighbors because the cats had a heyday out in our yard all last month, and really last month and a half, and I had to buy some more cat alarms just to remind them that this is actually a no cat zone, even though they think our garden is a great potty place for them. It's really not. And so I'm trying to convince them of that again. Okay, so that's just some of a variation. Okay. All right. Michelle, I wonder if you're still there. I hope so. It's nice to see you. And unfortunately, I had to look up at my camera to see you. I hope you're having a great day. I keep putting my video on over here, and I thought I was seeing my video and not seeing any comments, and that's still true. I can see the comments on the phone, but I can't on my computer. So that computer over there is just totally useless. Now I'm going to cut this out of my stitched shape thing. So I think I'm gonna move my camera over. I've kind of adjusted things a little bit. Let's see if you can see my big shot. I think you kind of can. I'm trying to be careful because if I move that computer around, or I mean my camera around too much, it shuts off. Facebook doesn't like it when my camera moves, and it just shuts down. So these are the rectangular stitched framelits. They're wonderful. There's, I haven't counted, but they are numerous. Little tiny ones up to this really big giant one. And I wish this is fairly new. I think this is in the annual catalog, but maybe it only came out in the occasions catalog. They'll be back. They're just too wonderful. So I'm going to want to cut out, actually, I need to cut out the a smaller one, and I've got my orange piece in the Big Shot already to cut out that that orange piece, but I quickly need to find find the shape that I did this with. So that's the rectangle that I'm going to be using to cut the daffodil out of. And let me stand up here and we'll just get this going. So I've got my orange piece already laid in there. I just didn't run it through. So I'm gonna run that through. I'm sorry if this is wobbling the camera. It probably is, but then that just cuts it out. And then you can save this piece, this extra piece. It makes a nice frame. It has those little stitched shapes. I don't know if you can see it, but there's little stitched shapes all the way around there. So you're actually using everything. We're going to use this for the background, and we're going to run. You can see how worn my plates are. I actually have new plates because these were getting so worn, but they last for a long time. So I have not been in any big rush to get to get them out. I'm just keep using my old plates until I have to. The only thing about using your really, now this one's really warped. The top one always gets warped, and I've tried switching them bottom and everything. It just doesn't matter. I finally just gave up and thought, all right, I'll have a warped one. But if I need to make sure this doesn't move, I need to get out one of my nice new plates, because when this is laying on here, it can make my, the Thinlit can move when I'm using this one. The other thing about your old plates is if there's even like a little piece of paper and it's colored, like some of the things we cut out have little tiny pieces and they get stuck in there. Get those out. I actually need to get over here and scrub this clean, because it can mar your white paper. Like I've got little spots all over there, and if I was really concerned about that, I would I would clean my plates, but I've been running it through and it seems to be fine. But yeah, it was fine. But anyway, so I could save that. I don't know that I will, but for now we'll do this. So that's all cut out and ready to go, and I'm gonna put that right back in there, because my experience is that if I don't put that back into its little container, it will get lost almost immediately. So now I'm just trying to move everything around again, and I hope that I'm getting it centered enough that everyone can see it. Okay, so we've got our flowers done. I ran this through my Big Shot with the quilt. This is Quilt Top. Embossing, the Quilt Top embossing folder, and it's just got really cool little dots, little dot pattern. It is pretty cool. All right, I think there, I think that's good enough now. Okay, so I need to lay this on a cardstock. Now I just took a plain old white cardstock. This is nothing too fancy. I just bought probably at the office store. But it is true that you don't want to stamp on these. Oops, that's a little short, isn't it? Will this work? I think it will. It's a little short. I wonder if I have another one. These might be ones that are leftovers from, that one's better, from making a bunch of cards last night. But you don't want to use, you want to use our Whisper White paper or cardstock to actually stamp and color on. This cheap cardstock doesn't, your pens won't look that great coloring on it, and your images actually won't stamp up probably quite as nicely either. So I would encourage you to get our paper. And then I'm just going to use some rubber cement to put this on, and I'm almost done. I had another card I thought I might get to, but I should have known that there was no way I could get through a coloring instruction thing within an hour and do 2 of them. There's no way, because coloring is the thing that does take time. And even if I have all of the pen numbers written down and in hand, it still takes me a minute to find. I'm going to have to trim a tiny bit there on the edge, but I'm not going to take the time to do that right now. And we want to use dimensionals on this and this. We're going to put this together with that, and then wrap the ribbon, and then we'll lay it down. Do I have other dimensionals in here? I thought I did. I don't see them. Maybe they're right in here in this package. Yep, they are. Okay. So we'll just put a couple of dimensionals here on the back. Actually, I think I'll put 3 on there. Okay, so back to how to lose weight, because that is what I started this with, because it's true. So many of us are always searching for ways to help us lose weight, and I can guarantee you, If you join my team, I will keep you focused on what we are doing to the degree that you want to be focused. I'm obviously not going to be a nag calling you and bugging you all the time, but I'm just going to say if you are watching this or you are looking at this at all, you do like crafts, because who in the world would be doing that otherwise? So use that blessing of crafting. This is just some yellow ribbon you can get out of the catalog. I believe it's still there. It's probably daffodil yellow, and it's very little, so it's, I suppose, 1/8. But that crafting talent that you have, you can use it to help maintain the weight you want. Whether you have weight to lose or just to maintain, it is a challenge, and this can help you. So if you join my team right now, this is the time to do it. We have 2 more weeks of celebration that I'm not going to be asking anymore for a while, because this is the best time to join. It's really not going to be financially beneficial for you to join necessarily. I mean, it is, I suppose. If you really wanted to run this as a business, then yeah, you could join at any time, and that's going to be financially beneficial to you. But if you are joining it because you like crafts and you want to hang out with me at the Crow Cottage and make cool things, then now is the time to do it. For $99, you can get $175 worth of stamps without any limitations, whatever you want in the catalog. So you get to pick if you wanted that big shot and you don't have the big shot. And I guarantee you the big shot for stuff like what we do with cards, it works a lot better than that silhouette cameo. I use the cameo just for some basic things because it can cut things out quickly for me. But actually, I shouldn't say quickly because it's slower than the big shot. Big shot, I just roll stuff through. But it can cut, if you've got littles, just circles to do, it can cut them out pretty quickly and a whole page of them. And again, for little things like that, just circles, that cameo is fine. But for little stitching things like this, no, it does not do a great job. And when I peel things off, it also ruins my paper and curls it and such. So the cutting machines are not as good as the big shot. So I would just encourage you, if you want that, this is the time. Join my team for your $99. Then you can get your cameo, and you could get $75 worth of other things as well. To fill out all the way up to your 107. And then also as a special incentive, I am giving anybody who joins my team right now, and actually it's been this way for the whole time, I just haven't talked a lot about it, but I've been giving, everybody gets a free stamp set, a $20 less, and there's a bunch of them. In fact, this is one of them. You could get this as your free stamp set. So you would be getting almost $200 worth of product for $175, and you will have something to do to keep you busy in the evening while you watch TV, while you, hang out with your family playing video games. You can be doing something that you're going to be able to give to your neighbors, to your coworkers, to your family, and just lots of love to share. So I'm going to swing the camera up. And there I am. My face is all red. I can see how red my cheeks got while I was yammering away. And then also, these lights are pretty warm in here. And I've been out in the sun. It's nice out there. So I am looking forward to being... Oh, I forgot to stamp my little celebrate. Celebrate. The celebrate that I put on there is actually from... I think it's a good day stamp set, and I think I have it here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yes, it's a good day. This is a stamp set that's in the regular catalog, and it has all kinds of little things on there. No, my Celebrate's not on there, so I'm glad I didn't try to use it, but there's a lot of things, and it comes with, there's all these circles, and you can just use the little punch and punch out these circles, so it's pretty fun. So anyhow, I hope you have a great day. I am going to have a great day. See the squirrel just now jumped into our tree. He's hilarious the way they jump. These little tiny branches that can barely support their weight, and they crawl out to the end, and it's going like this, and then it's going to jump into our tree, because our neighbor's tree is the one they start on, and they go way out, and it's like this. I'm thinking, you're not going to make it, squirrel. You're crazy to even try. And then it leaps out and lands on our crabapple. And of course, the branch that it jumps onto immediately goes like that too. I don't know how they do it, but I've never seen them fall out there. I have seen them fall. Yeah, I like the squirrels too, Michelle. They're pretty funny. I've seen them fall a few times off of our bird feeders, because they have to do all kinds of gymnastics just to try to get that seed, and they are hilarious to watch. So I like having the squirrels in our yard. They are welcome. The cats are not, but the squirrels are welcome. They haven't done anything that I don't like so far. I guess they've probably eaten some flower bulbs, but I have a lot, so I don't really care. So anyhow, you have a great day, and I forgot to draw names again. Shoot, I keep forgetting to do this. So tomorrow I will get out there and draw names. Share my videos, and then I'll enter you in the drawing, because I always have something cool to give away, and then whoever wins in the drawing, I will send them a gift. And so I have to do a drawing for the last 2 weeks videos, I believe, and then the drawing I will do for this video will be next week, because I need it to run for a week before I do it. So share my video, and I will enter it right in there, right in your comments. Just put in shared, so I know you shared, because Facebook hides things. They're just trying to keep us all safe, you know. They hide things because of privacy, so I don't always see it. So write it in that you shared, and I'll be back next week. Actually, I'll be back tomorrow to do the drawing. Then I'll be back next week, and not coloring this time. All right, so we'll see you later. Bye.